Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Welcome to the weekly news and review, the last news and review for the entire year, and this is going to be for 12/29/2024. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Looking forward to a wonderful, happy New Year. And I've been spending the week trying to use up all of the leftovers. I make a really mean ham fried rice, but there's some Transformers news. There's several big stories that have been just kind of repeated over and over and over all week. But this is the picture I've been looking for. We'll talk more about it. We got some TMNT stuff. I'm hearing that this is a new body for Shredder, not the old one just reissued. So, hey, I'll take that. And they're going to, of course, do recolors on any new molds and new stuff. And then we've got Ryu from the Ninja Gaiden 3 coming out. We'll talk a little bit about that. Looks pretty cool. Then there is some G.I. Joe stuff. So it's kind of cool. Some kind of cool G.I. Joe stuff. We also have news about her brother in a different scale. And then we've got Star Wars news. Very little. Most of it is what's being clearanced out all over the place. And I'll show that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at all this great stuff and more coming up. All right, starting out, as usual, what's new at Show Z Store? There's the Toy Boy W01 Bumblebee, and this is 11.22 inches tall, due out in second quarter of 2025. Comes with all this stuff here, and does it transform? Turns into what appears to be a Mad Max version of himself, and yeah, that's pretty cool. A pretty cool figure. It's a big figure, 11 inches, no idea on price yet. $1 down. Next up we have Evangelion, and I think it might be pronounced like Evangelion, but I call him Evangelion. Anyway, new theatrical edition Robo Dow Evangelion production model 02 metallic color version, $214 pre-order, $15 down, and a non-refundable deposit. Still looks pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about some KOs coming to Show Z Store. Coming soon, fourth party masterpiece MP15 Tank Brawl. $80. I'm not sure what the original price was on the original one, but this one's only going to be $80. Turns into a tank, all that good stuff. Everything the original one did, maybe even better. And fourth party, MD001B Optimus Prime Black Limited Edition. This is basically a knockoff of 3-0, and it's non-transformable. It is the 11.1 inches tall, and pretty cool. So if you're in on this, then I don't know the price. Oh, yep, there it is. Price is $130. So $130 for the knockoff of 3-0. So what's causing the most waves this week? Well, it's this Super Jinrai, God Jinrai, MPG09, Takara putting it out, and I think it looks really good. So it's kind of exciting, and it's coming right on time. It's supposed to come by December, and it's starting to show up. Here is the cab version compared to vintage, which is something that I wanted, and the more I look at these pictures that have been coming out this past week that people have been showing, and I'm noticing that there's probably never going to be a Missing Link version of this, because this is the Missing Link version of this. I mean, it's same size, scale when it comes to this figure. They just went up to, not quite, in my opinion, 100% Masterpiece, but they went up to Masterpiece when it comes to the combined. Of course, this is going to be a chest and all that good stuff, but I like the color, I like the sheen on it. I think it looks really good. Now, comparing it to the vintage, I'm actually going to be reviewing the vintage one in my next Retro Wednesday. I've got all that kind of almost ready to go. But it's kind of exciting. This is what we've been waiting for these to come out. Is this going to be better than the KFC version? I'm hearing some good and some bad from the KFC version. And, well, so far I haven't really fully seen reviews on this yet. But I haven't heard anything really negative all week long. People just showing pictures and seem really excited about it. But looking at it side by side, I'm going to say it, and I've said it, I don't know, 20 times already. This is what I would have rather had when I was a kid. I would have rather had this than the thing on the left. Well, I'll be talking more about that in that review, and I will be very, very kind to it in the review. Here's a group picture so we can get scale, and, you know, the people that are able to get these pictures, snap them, put them on the Weebos and stuff, already have the Megatron, Romulus Megatron from New Age, so that's squeezed in there too, and they seem to be okay, a little short for liking in a way for the Romulus next to him, but that's a nice little group. That is the MP44 next to the MPG and all that, looking good. Although the picture I got here, it didn't have all of the armored up and all the stuff put on it that you can obviously put on it just fine. They just aren't on there. But it's kind of the bare bones, slimmed down, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. I really do like the coloring, the silver on it, everything that's going on with this. For the most part, it looks fantastic. There are updated pictures of FansToys in their Sovereign version 2.0. And before I get any further into this, I'm going to point out, I've always said from day one it looks better than the first one. And my only problem is that they should have worked on something else, get something else out first. Why is this coming out way before so many other projects? Blows my mind, but X-Transbots. Anyway, it does look fantastic. It does look phenomenal. I do have some pricing to talk to people about that. Here's the comparison 1.0 to 2.0 official from FansToys, and I've said it before in the past too. This is admission that the first one wasn't good enough. If their first one was good enough and it could stand on its own legs and they could just go on and make 50 other figures, literally, then going back and redoing one, then that's saying one would have been good enough. Making a two is them saying their first one wasn't good enough for them. And they've, I guess, considered failure. Now I'm looking at mine on my shelf right now, and I'm still perfectly fine with what's on my shelf. I do have one on pre-order. I am going to take a look at it, of course, but this is the alt mode. It looks good. Again, not directly from the side. I couldn't get a perfect side angle, but I'm glad that we got these color pictures this week. Of course, it does look pretty decent, and I guess there are improvements in this mode. Is it perfect? We'll find out. So we got more pictures of the Bingo Toys Jezzy, and it's the BTO7, and I think it looks like a pretty good Jazz. It is definitely stylized, and if you want Super G1, you're not getting it here. But if you want Super G1, there's 3 other options to go for. So this one is far from the G1, and it still looks cool, and you can still recognize it as Jazz as soon as you look at it. So it's way better to get it with the color on it and these updated photos. To kind of seeing some of the other cool things, like having a double clipping sword that clips, 2 swords that clip to his side. Not sure what that's all about, but it still looks pretty cool overall. Pretty interesting. I don't think I'm going to be it on this, but there are a lot of people that like it. All right, so there's a video about the DX9 new Sideswipe Lambor DX9 G1 with the Transformers Masterpiece scale. This is up by Color Art Touch Toys, and this thing looks better than I originally thought. It looks like they're using a very good metallic paint. From where I'm sitting, that's how it looks to me. And it looks good, but the one thing when I saw the transformation, this cool thing that they did was the fact there's a line right down the middle of the chest, but the extra added line work just makes it look like it's just line work. It's like we're adding a little bit of extra detail to it, so it's not so simplistic. That is a smart idea to hide in plain sight the split in the chest. So I like that. I think that's a really cool way to go about doing it. And then the square looks like it's intentionally put there so that you can put your Autobot symbol on there. So a lot of really cool things to overcome the chest reduction that has to happen in this character. But it looks fantastic. How does the car mode look with paint? I mean, you see that. It looks metallic to me. Looks metallic to you, right? Now, a lot of people are probably going to complain you see the innards on the inside through the windows. It is what it is. It is what it is. But still looks pretty cool. Guess they should have frosted the windows so you don't see that so much, or made them jet black. But of course, you went with the Takara blue coloring, which it matches, and a lot of other companies done the same. Nice looking Coutage. Hold up a second. Am I really talking about a Devastator right now? This is Dreamstar Toys, the DS TO2 002 Hook Warrior. I have not talked about this version of the Devastator. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Devastators, and that's quite impressive. There's so many fighting for the same space all at the same time. But this is not fighting for the same space. This is very, very stylized. And kind of like their Superion was, which I did not get in on. Did hear that was challenging to transform. I'm not sure the level of challengingness this one will be. But it does have some nice looking paint on it. And I do kind of like the way that torso is shaping up. Then we get into 02. So I guess is the second one coming, I guess. But looks pretty cool overall. And this is coming out. I'm not in on this. I can't do 5 Devastators at once. Sorry. I'm in on 2, maybe 3. But this looks like fun, and I'll be keeping up with this as it progresses. Here's Mecha Invasion, and I do want to say that this is basically a case of working with what you got. This is definitely far from an end result, especially those legs. So disregard that in a way. but it's shaping up okay. It's looking kind of decent overall. Pretty cool figure that they've got going on. Theirs is another one that's a bit on the stylized side, a little closer to G1 than what we just looked at. And here we go, one of these that they've got some pictures of the individual bots here, looking pretty cool. And I like the paint. I do like the color on these. I think they look pretty good. A little bit on the stocky side, but the end result for these is definitely the combined mode. I really think that's one of the challenges with Devastator, is that you gotta have a good combined mode or it's not going to work. It's kind of a waste, even though a lot of people display them in all three modes. But there it is. This one here is the Mecha Invasion. I think they called it the Giant Legion, and it's Craner and Tipper. All right, getting into Fans Hobby, and this is Chosen Prime with MB15E Turbo Punk, which looks to be kind of like a Hot Rod instead of a Rodimus, and that's why he's a Turbo Punk. Cool name, though. I mean, that's I could see Cup calling him a Turbo Ramen Punk or something like that. Cool stuff. It's shipping. Another exclusive, and it's available the 31st at noon. So there we go. This holiday season, Lewin Resources, or W Resources, they're going to go by now, is giving us the gift of a head, and that's, or at least a picture of a head. That thing is big. I mean, just look at that hand, the size of that head in your hand, and that is going to be an impressively large feet, impressively large figure. Oh, speaking of impressively large feet, here we go with some legs and some feet, and they just keep working on this project. Here's what I gotta say. They are moving really fast with this giant. It's like go time just a few weeks ago, and they have been non-stop pumping this out, and it's impressive. I don't think anything's been made on this scale before in a full transforming city bot. Just impressive. I'm not in on it. I'm waiting for a more G1-esque one, or I don't even know if I can swing that big and that expensive at this point anymore, but it's very impressive that it's getting made. All right, here's something coming out of Wonderfest, and it's exclusive Beast Wars Primal and Rat Trap Garage Kits. Still really no answer on Garage Kit. Like, where did that term even come from? We got model kits. How is it a Garage Kit different than a model kit? Anyhow, it does look like you just clip a few pieces together to build him, I guess. Is that how it goes? Still, there's more questions than answers whenever this stuff comes up, but it does look kind of interesting, does look kind of cool. And here's the thing, with the animation, if you want it exactly like the animation, you're not getting it with anything that transforms. That's just the way it is if you love the animation. So you're going to have to do something like a Garage Kit if you want that type of a display. But here is the Rat Trap. Still doesn't, so renders don't show you all the cuts and seams like the first picture did, but I would wonder, is there going to be more articulation than that? But will be interesting to see more when this is finally like shown completed. But they're saying a simply scale model kit, most commonly cast in polyurethane resin, if that helps. All right, next we got the New Age version of Warpath, and I gotta admit, it looks pretty good. Now, we just got the MPH version, and that one was decent. I'm curious as to how this stacks up to it, size, scale, and all that kind of stuff. Didn't find a picture comparing to MPH, which I'm shocked, because that thing just came out, and anybody getting their hands on this probably has that. But I'm sure someone somewhere will have a good comparison picture. You'll definitely get a comparison picture in my review, but I think it looks pretty good. Overall, I still even really can't tell if it's that much better than the MPH or just aesthetically and all that. And I didn't even see the alt mode, but we'll see all that when it comes in. Still, one of the Legends items that's pretty exciting. The height is my only issue when it comes to New Age mini-bots. I'm going to classify this as Legend, but they're saying that it is Core Class QQT, Core Class Predicting. So I'm guessing QQT is a new company. This is the O2, so the O1 is something else we'll talk about. Core Class Predicting first renders, and it's cool looking. It's going to be 18 centimeters tall. Let's get the math on that. So that's about 7 inches. So that's a little bit short versus what we've been seeing for Legends lately. And so that's, I guess that is what it is. But still a pretty cool looking project that they're working on. For whatever reason, they're showing the other figures will work with it. So they're kind of saying if it's a combiner of theirs, they'll all scramble city together if you want them to. And there it is. So this is what we have shown so far for their 01 is going to be a Devastator. And it looks to be a pretty good looking Devastator just by the arms so far. So looking like they're going to do some good work. Haven't seen anything in person. These are just renders. This is just an idea of an idea. Concepts of a plan. Here are the renders of the bot modes of their Devastators. So these are the is it 01? 02? Anyway, this thing, that looks pretty cool. Looks like decent looking figures for the size and the scale, and I'll be interested in seeing how this works out, what the price point is on these, and I do get that feeling we're going to see them all released in doubles, like duplicates. You're going to be getting 2-packs, which make a lot of sense for Legends, for shipping, logistics, all of that. And here we go with the alt mode. Now, alt mode looks a little bit, it's okay, but a little underdone on one. But all that really matters to me in the end when I'm dealing with Devastator and that kind of stuff is the combine mode. And if it looks decent enough, like passable, then I'm also okay with it. But I think one's passable, one needs a little more work. Right, Robot Toys is working on Leopard. This is the RTO3, RTO3B, and you're getting Leopard and the black version of the Leopard, which is that supposed to be Ravage? I'm guessing. Is it supposed to be Ravage? Anyway, they look pretty good overall, and you're not seeing anyone else doing these in Legends scale. They pretty much own the Legends scale Beast Wars at this point, since no one else is doing it. They're a little bit stylized, but for the Beast Wars, it's fine with me. And I do like the shiny paint. Like, this show had shiny paint when their metal was exposed. I think that is something that really should be in every Beast Wars figure. And then here is the alt mode. Alt modes. Same alt mode, different color. And they both look cool. So, is it perfect? No. Is it bad? No. It's pretty decent for a Legends. Just, this is zoomed in. Imagine how small it's going to be. Another Legends thing, Show Z Store is getting these in stock coming soon, so you can pay for these $57 for the set of 2 for the Saiyan Culture train bots. And it's the Getsui and the Yukikes. And that's not a bad price. That's a little bit higher than what you're getting with, say, a New Age when they make you buy 2 of the same bot. But these are 2 different bots, and they're, I think, significantly larger. But hey, remember, you want to get these TH reviewer code. Alright, getting on to some big stuff with Hasbro. They just announced that they're reissuing Trypticon, but they said they want to make some color changes, color palette upgrades, and I think that they did a phenomenal job. I always felt like the first one should have been this coloration, but they didn't do that. And I just got used to the first one being the way it was, and now getting the one on the right, the darker look, that looks amazing. I didn't want to order one of these. I might. I think I'll give my son the old one. Keep the new one. He doesn't care. He'll take either one. He'll be happy with it. But pretty awesome. This is a good looking upgrade. Solid colors, and they pop. And it's kind of what I want. Now, 2 things that held this back when it first launched. Number 1, everyone felt like it was too short, including myself. Why could it not be a couple inches taller and it match up properly to the other Titans? Because that big old long tail in the back, and I mean, a lot of reasons. Same amount of plastic for the most part. And then the coloration. So they fixed one, but obviously they're not going to cast new molds and make new tooling just for the reissue. They want to milk that mold, and they're doing it, but they're doing it well. Now, there's not much other Hasbro news. Hasbro's tired. They need a little break. They need to enjoy their holidays and take some time off. So not much news coming from them, but Transformers crossover with Bingo Sports collaboration, and it's okay. So they say this is an Optimus Prime. I'll have to say, okay, that's Optimus Prime right there in the alt mode. And then here is the bot mode in the box, in the packaging, with a little Bingo Sports something in there. It's the spoiler, I believe. But yeah, it looks interesting. Looks pretty cool. This is not something for me, but some people are gonna love this. And yeah, Bingo Sports. All right, so this is one of those figures that I think it was one of the ones that we first saw showing up as a leaked image. Now we got the full-on production figure, and we've got him next to a Galvatron for which line is this even going to be? Age of the Prime's leader, Megatronus, the Fallen, and it looks pretty interesting, pretty ominous, pretty mean. I like the clear effects they put on him. He's on fire, and yeah, that's cool. Is that Megatron? He's bigger than Galvatron, which is also quite impressive. I mean, we all know that when Galvatron turned into Megatron in the G1 toy line, he gained 5 inches. So this is a whole different era, and because he doesn't turn into a gun, he turns into a tank, right? Yep, there's a tank, and it's kind of cool. Actually, I always look at the tanks. I think of the G2 one, and I just found out something that they reused part of the tank for the G2 Megatron and use it on a G.I. Joe toy. I'll be talking about that in the future too, but this one looks cool, and you can put the flame effects right there also. And more pictures, which they look like the exact same pictures we've already seen, but of the Commander class. I guess they're wanting to push this, coming from UK-based pictures. So you can get this. So this is Silverbolt, and you're going to get all the combining parts to make Superion, and this is coming from, you can get it TF Source, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, Robot Kingdom, Chosen Prime, Ages 3 and Up, Amazon, stuff like that. But I gotta say, it's my favorite combiner is the Superion, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got everything pre-ordered for that, and everything for their Devastator, and I'm backing off of the Hasbro stuff a bit because I don't need all of it, but I do want to kind of get those. And to circle back around and wrap up this whole Transformer segment, the 2.0 Sovereign price is up at TF Source for $239.99. So I think I might have misspoke earlier on price, or not even said it. But when I see this, I'm assuming Show Z stores $200, maybe $190. I don't know. We'll find out when it ships in September 2025. But there you go. If you're interested in price and curious how much it's going to be, it's a lofty investment for an upgrade. Hiya Toys is showing off their Zorana, and I've got to tell you, I'm thoroughly impressed with all of their offerings so far. The quality is great. I think the hands were the only thing I had an issue with, but I mean, that's probably a me issue, not used to handling those kind of joints on such small figures. But she looks fantastic. I mean, Zorana is one of the characters I like a lot. I love the Dreadnoks, and just really the only female Dreadnought they have, and she was cool. She was cool in the show, cool in the movie. Was she in the movie? In the show. But I thought that this is one of the best looking versions that they've made. A lot of people say that this matches directly to Classified. I don't think so. I think that they are a little bit better. Sort of more of a cross between what Classified has done, and even a little more retro, but a little more edgy at the same time. But still pretty cool figure, and it's not up for pre-order just yet. We got in-hand pictures of Xandar, which I think he looks pretty cool. He looks good. I would have preferred the brighter colors of the blue, but that's not what we got, and I understand why they went the route they did. He looks actually more realistic and more like what you would see with Dreadnoks. I mean, he wouldn't be having as bright of blues as he did as a G1 figure, but I think it looks good overall, and I'll accept kind of the changes. It takes me a while to get used to that kind of stuff, but I'll accept it. But Dreadnoks, they're doing a good job with Dreadnoks. They all look good. So let's see how he looks with some of his family. It's his Christmas family photo here, and they're trying to send it home to Ma. And there we go, Ma. Here we are. And then it looks pretty cool. That is nice looking, happy little family there. G.I. Joe Classified. Oh, a picture, I think Jay Cochran from TNI News. I think he's the one that made this. So I found this picture, and some people are debating. The one on the left is what Ramen Toy is making for their 3.0. I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks great. Some people are saying that let's do a little tweaking to it, make them a little shorter, and change up the colors of the straps, and this is what they would like to see. I don't see that it's that big of a deal. But when it comes to the height, okay, Color-wise, I'm okay with either one. Like, I don't really care. The reds are slightly different. I'm fine with it. The height thing is, because if you look at the joints, you could crouch him down lower if you feel like he's too big next to your Brave Star, right? Next to your Marshall. But if you want to hyper send him as high as he can, he'll fit in with the vintage figure. So I think that if you got this to where he'll work fine with your vintage or the modern, that I think that will be a plus in my opinion. And I think I know I could pull it off, or I'm pretty sure I could pull it off to make them look right next to each one. But I think this is a phenomenal release, and I'll be pre-ordering it as soon as it comes up, because the original G1 did not perform very well as a stand-up horse. It performed well as a horse, not as a humanoid bipedal, and that's what this one's going to do, and this one's going to fill that gap for a lot of collectors. They've been waiting for 40 years. So I guess there's a Batman movie too that's it looks to still have the same actor, the one from Twilight's what it looks like to me. I haven't done any research into this. I literally just have this information. Warner Brothers today announced that Batman 2 movie, which was going to be released on October 2nd of 2026, will now be released a year later, October 1st, 2027. So this is a long way out from actually getting made. I want to tell you this, I enjoyed it, and I thought that particular actor wouldn't do a good job in there. You know, the one played, was it Edward or something? Anyway, I didn't think he'd do a good job as a Batman, but I was impressed with his portrayal of Batman, and kind of goes to show many different actors can play Batman. Could many different actors play Indiana Jones? What are you cranging about? This is just an Archie Krang Shredder from NECA. I have no idea what that is, but it's Shredder with Krang's head on it. And I wonder if they'll include just an actual Shredder head in the box. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool if they do that. But I'm gonna pick up a standard Shredder, just a standard new body Shredder if I can get my hands on one. But I don't think I'd be in on this. This is currently listed as Walmart on the Walmart website, not currently available to purchase. So it's kind of interesting kind of thing that they're doing. I think that NECA nails everything that is toon and comic. Look, I found a picture where he does get a helmet, so that is cool. So that is interesting. So you can just swap a Krang onto his head. Very, very cool kind of concept for a figure. This is comic, not cartoon, and yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Alright, so we're going to get Ninja Gaiden 3 from the amazing Yamaguchi. This is Kasumi. So we don't really have the figure. This is, I think, just renders, not the actual figure just yet. And it looks pretty cool. It's going to be 6-inch scale. It's going to have all of the different articulation, all those kinds of things. And looks good. This is the Ryu, and I would prefer a classic, like, original Ninja Gaiden one also. If they were going to make this, like, have they already made that and I missed it? But I think these are $100 figures. Don't see a price on it just yet, but still really cool. Figured I'd show it, and it's just one of those things that I think is quite interesting that they make. Staying in that same vein, that is Revoltech SF6 Luke, Street Fighter 6 Luke figure. And I don't know anything about this character, but I do think that he looks pretty interesting overall. And I guess that's coming. Still another one. I don't see the price on that one just yet. If you convert it over from yen, it's 77 US dollars. The conversion doesn't always work out right, but it's a hefty price, but still not as hefty as some of the other ones in the past. So pretty cool. Capcom. I've never played the character. So we've got Mayfex making a No Way Home Spider-Man and a Megan M3 again. Megan pre-order, and it's live pre-order. Okay, so this is going to be, Spider-Man's going to be 105, Megan's going to be 115. As you know, these are pretty nice figures. I reviewed the CT version, which was a knockoff, and it was a good figure. Now, some people said they have issues with their CT, and definitely go original. So I'll say that, go original. But I'm happy with my $30 ones that I had no real problems with. But having handled the mold, and now this is kind of a shinier metallic blue leggings and stuff, but still looks pretty cool, pretty interesting, and I can appreciate this a lot more because I had got my hands on one to review. And yeah, it's coming up. If you're interested in this stuff, I think they sell out pretty quick. So if you're looking for a good time, you need to find the most up-to-date Star Wars news going on, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun. So first of all, the Vintage Collection Ghost HasLab order on Pulse.com is expected to be delayed until January 13th for some people. Now, I've seen some people get them in and do reviews and videos. I haven't watched a review yet or anything. It is impressive for the size, and I think they really made a lot of fans happy by making it. So pretty cool. I personally will be passing on most HasLabs going forward for price and space and all that kind of stuff. It's just got to be something that really hits home with me. This did not, but it hit home with a lot of other people that really love it. And of course, Rebels is awesome. So I went on record also saying Rebels is the best Star Wars that they've made since Return of the Jedi at that point, and it still holds up. All right, so coming to Star Wars Black Series is Ronin and B556, which I don't know anything about this. And to that point, they only have a drawing. So there's no pictures of figures or official look and what it's going to look like. I think it might look close to this, but not exactly this. But certainly won't have all the flowing type of clothing. I wonder if it's going to be cloth or plastic and all that. It's interesting. Something that I'm just curious how it turns out. But this is the biggest news of the week for Star Wars. So I think the biggest news on Star Wars are clearance prices now. Like what's on sale where and what's on clearance where, because most people are holding out on buying. And I'm not picking up any of this even at the clearance prices or discount prices. Nothing really strikes me, but you've got this Shriek-Hawk Trainers 18, the Captain Enoch 13, R46 Dio 10, and Black Series Mandalorian Night Owl 8, I guess. Balin Skull, Black Series Balin Skull, $9. See, Black Series May Assassin 12, Jedi Soul 14, OSHA 11. So those are from Acolyte, and then K2SO is 14. The IG 12 and Grogu 15. So just all this clearance from Walmart, and they can't get rid of them. They just keep marking them down. What happened is they marked them down like right before Christmas. Now after Christmas, is this after? No, this is the 23rd. Then they marked them down even more from the markdown. It's crazy. I think I even have a couple things in my cart seeing if they get cheaper. So this is what one of my Walmarts look like that's nearby on Christmas Eve about 2 hours before close. And it looks exactly like it did, almost exactly like it did 2 months earlier. Almost the exact same stuff hanging there. Maybe a few more things missing. 2 years ago, they were wiped out Christmas Eve. And I had done a video about that. Last year, it looked similar to this. This year, it looks, pretty much like this. And it's sad state of affairs. I mean, is it for all of toy collecting? Well, what about the children? So stuff's getting made isn't really for the children, really. It's made for adult collectors, properties adults like. Kids want their own era, but anyway, here's what I'm seeing at Targets, and there's pretty much mostly concentrated in the Star Wars section of clearance, half off. This does not bode well for Star Wars at retail, that absolutely everything's getting clearance Star Wars. Other franchises aren't seeing any discounts right now. So that's interesting, but this... And then, I didn't get a picture of it, I should have. It's $40 now if you want to get the Joker Mobile from the animated series McFarlane. That is a cool looking bit if you want to pick one of those up. So some sales and deals right now if you're into that. Lastly, I found this at a Ross, and I wasn't going to be in on the Frankenberry and all those. I really do want the Count Chocula. That's really the only one I wanted. But seeing this in person, I had to pick it up. I thought it was pretty cool. I feel like $8 is still a bit too much for the Super 7 reactions. But if it wasn't such a shiny paint job on this Megatron, I would have left it behind. But these, I think, they're pretty cool. Price point, all right. But Ross is creeping up on their price. But yet they wiped out Ross versus wiping out Walmart's. Let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What other stuff is going on out there that's really cool that I didn't talk about? Because I like to stay in the know, and I like to not miss out on the deals. Like, subscribe to Deer Hanger out.